Our conditions still continuing to show bearishness in this overall bull market. Now have a neutral trend on S&P 500 at 7 and 7. We've got majority bearish on the 1 hour time frame. You can see that trend now testing this demand block right here, where we've got some support area that needs to hold up. That's on the 1 hour time frame over here on the left side. Over here on the right side, this is the daily chart of SPX, S&P 500. You've got your support area now bouncing off of this 58.68 level, or at least testing that area now for some potential support. If that area breaks, then that could send us down to that 57.25, 382 retracement. S&P 500 futures this morning are a little bit strong, 0.31 up slightly here. You can see a little bit of a dip down here during the overnight session and trying to find some support back at these levels. The overall market breadth is just horrendous right here, though, 17%, which means that we've got almost 85% of stocks below their 50-day moving average, 85% of S&P 500 stocks. This indicator is measuring the number of stocks above the 50-day moving average in the S&P 500. That is definitely weak, but it's also quite extended in this downtrend. We've now got this expansion of trend here, and down around this 10 number can create an area where we could see some buying interest coming back into the market. So we'll see if we're oversold enough on this move lower now in S&P 500 to get a little bit of support back into the market. As of now, still quite bearish. VIX, as it has been sitting kind of tight right here, it's majority bullish at 14, which means that is bearish for the market still. And you've got a little bit of attempted rallies here on this 1 hour time frame, a push higher and a pullback, a push higher and a pullback, but still really tight consolidated trends. And again, majority bullish on the 1 hour time frame for VIX as well. If we look at bonds, short end of the yield curve starting to get a little bit of strength here on SHY, and now we've shifted back majority bullish on the 1 hour time frame at 10, and on the daily time frame at 12, majority bearish. So a little bit of interest starting to happen on that short end of that yield curve. The longer end of the yield curve, TLT, we've got continued bearish here, majority bearish, and this 1 hour time frame, a little bit of attempted support, but nothing too overly interesting at these levels. That's the long end of that yield curve. Also, let's jump over and look at those rates. That 10-year rate sitting at 5.45, continued uptrend, but kind of pausing right here just a little bit over the last 3 or 4 days. Dow Jones Industrial Average, let's take a look at that. We've got majority bearish at 9 and the majority bearish at 14 on the 1 hour time frame. That trend also at a significant support area right here around this 423. Again, this is on the DIA, which is the ETF for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So almost back down into that 50% range inside of that corrective zone where it could find some support. We're getting a little bit of weakening on those shorter trends, the upper end of these trends, whereas these longer trends, they're starting to flatten. You can see each of those starting to flatten, starting to curl just a little bit. So some pretty significant trend activity happening here across the board. The triple Qs also now 2 days, 3 days into that bearish trend zone, but right at support, right at that 236 location, could find a bounce and support potentially here also. All these markets are all extended still in these trends, so not surprising to see them consolidate, starting to get this compression of trend here just a little bit. Majority bearish now on triple Qs on the 1 hour time frame. Trends accelerating there. Also on the Russell 2000, the small cap names, you've got majority bearish at 10 and majority bearish on the 1 hour at 14, and dipping back, quite a bit deeper than some of those other markets, retesting that 50% area, and let's take a look at USO. USO continuing to have some strength here. We've talked about it as we've been watching it build some momentum and starting to break out of this region right here, and now starting to get some more continuation of that upside. We've got majority bullish on the 1 hour time frame and majority bullish on the daily time frame, and we've got compression. So that's one of the things we want to see. These become decision points where we can get a transition and shifting at compression and at the expansion of the trend trend, something like this, as well as the tightening and the shifting. These can be continuations as well. We're in a downtrend, we move up, run into that resistance, continuing that trend, where here, this is a good indication or a potential range of trend shifting, and we want to be aware of that for USO and also GLD, which is the ETF for gold, finding some support here back up into the momentum, or back up into the buy zone, not quite into the momentum zone, but turning green there, you can see as of right now. And we've got majority bullish on the 60-minute time frame, pushing that back up. So potential trend shift or continuation on GLD as we're looking at gold, and some compression at the top end of that trend condition profile, all bullish still as they're starting to curl back up again. That's for GLD, and then also SLV, similar type similar price pattern, and the 60-minute time frame getting a little bit of support here for SLV. So some trends potentially starting to shift on gold and silver. Let's look at a couple of stocks ideas for today, two to consider. Also, if these two are coming out of our new buy scan. If you want the filter set up for the new buy scan, you can join the Discord room. There's a link in the description of this video. It's free to join, and you can get set up with the indicators here on TradingView, as well as these screen settings. ORLA, a mining stock, nice confirmation bar, and risk management. A stop could be placed below some of those recent lows around that 525 location, and increased volume in momentum zone, confirmation bar above the to that 236 location, and continuing that advancement of trend. Those are some of the criteria that these screens are going to pull up, and the kind of stocks that we're the most interested in. BFLY is another stock that we've traded a couple of different times, and it also has a nice confirmation bar here, increasing volume back into the momentum zone, and some real interest there in an interesting stock, interesting technology. As you go through these charts and look through, I'm always fascinated by these companies, what they do, and what industry they're in. A quick way to go through and find their website is just over here on this sidebar. Those little three dots right here, you can just simply click those. I've got technicals and I've got profile, but just below that is their website. You can open up that website and take a look to see what their product is. They're in the ultrasound, these handheld ultrasound devices for the medical healthcare industry, and pretty cool stuff. It's always interesting to see what the innovation is, what the idea is, what the company's actually doing, and that's just a fast way to get out to their website. As well as on the screen criteria, you can go down and see what sector, what industry they're in. As well, a couple stock ideas for you to consider on this Friday. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.